Hello everyone and welcome. This is Sioux Shrimp Breeders, and in this video I'm going to be going over my 20-gallon long, which is one of my most successful shrimp tanks. It is also one of my oldest shrimp tanks when it comes to my Caridina shrimp. I've had this one for about a year and a half. It has been giving me all kinds of cool shrimp. So I'm going to be going over everything from the water parameters, how many water changes I do, the plants that are in here, the substrate. If you are interested in this kind of video, then stay tuned and enjoy. The water parameters in this tank have been just about the same since I first set it up. The only thing that I've changed is the water temperature. I've lowered it just a little bit as now I heat my entire shrimp room. It is a little bit more cost effective to keep the temperatures lower, and I haven't noticed a big difference in breeding when it comes to temperature. The other water parameters in this tank are a pH of 6 to 6.2, a KH or carbonated hardness of 0, a GH or general hardness of 4 to 5, There's also something called TDS, or total dissolved solids. For this measurement, I do have a TDS meter. I use this in every water change, and I do use this from time to time to check on what the total dissolved solids are in that tank. And for this tank, I like to keep it between a 125 and 135. There are shrimp salts that I use for keeping these water parameters stable, and I do start from RO water. This water basically has nothing in it. It strips all of the excess nutrients or chemicals that were put in the water. Tap water usually comes with some sort of TDS in it. This just ensures that I'm starting from 0. The piece of driftwood I'm using for this is called Malaysian driftwood. I do like to keep some sort of driftwood in most of my tanks. There are a couple that don't. I do find the ones that have driftwood in there to be a little bit more successful than the ones without. But then I look at my crystal red shrimp tank and there's no driftwood in there at all, and that one is really loaded with shrimp. So I'm not for sure exactly if driftwood is needed, but I do like it in most of my shrimp tanks. When it comes to feeding my shrimp, each tank is a little bit different. Not so much as what I feed, but how much. Each tank has a different amount of shrimp in it, so my feeding schedule is a little bit different for each individual tank. What they are feeding on right now is a mulberry leaf. These I put in about once every couple weeks. They last anywhere between a couple days to a week. The brown looking leaf underneath this mulberry leaf is called an Indian almond leaf, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll see them in just about every one of my tanks. I usually keep about one leaf, depending on the size, one leaf per 10 gallons of water. My 33 gallons, I will put in 3 leaves, and this one here I have a couple. There's one in the back. They will feed on these basically all the time. They slowly decay and they leave a biofilm on them, which releases antibacterial properties. My shrimp seem to be a little bit healthier and a little bit stronger when I have these leaves are in the tank. The plants in this tank are recycled from other tanks. I have the same plants throughout my shrimp room. It makes sure that the plants are shrimp safe and there was no chemicals on them, and it also saves me a little bit of money from going out and buying new plants every time I set up a tank. On this piece of driftwood, I have some weeping moss along with a narrow-leaf java fern. And I kind of have this set up in a lot of my other shrimp tanks. It gives a lot of surface area for the shrimp to graze on. Over here, I have some Rotala indica along with my floating plants, which are water lettuce and duckweed. And these two plants are probably the most important out of all my shrimp tank plants. And the reason for that is what I noticed starting to happen was the duckweed would get stuck up underneath the water lettuce, and I thought at first it was really annoying, but then I realized that when it was dying and decaying underneath the water, the little babies would go up there and eat it. So I've decided to leave it in there, and I have not seen a problem with it, and I've seen a pretty good yield in shrimp. I'm going to end this part 1 series with my shrimp, eating a little bit of my homemade shrimp food, and I'm going to try to go over everything that I missed in this video in the next, and I'm going to be putting that out next Sunday. If there's something that you would like to see in that video, leave a comment below and let me know. I'll try to get in and see if there's some things that I maybe forgot or am going to be leaving out. So I hope to see you in the next video. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and cheers.